Eyes are gently closed. Take a moment to center yourself. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya om shanti shanti shanti. Slowly and gently open your eyes. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So we have been discussing the verses of Upadēśa Sāram to enable our self-inquiry. The whole inquiry is to have a right perception about oneself and the world. All our problems are there, the emotional problems, the mental problems, all of them are there because of a distorted perception of reality. With a distorted vision, whatever you try to do, it doesn't appear clear to you, so you just be banging your head here and there. We have to think about solutions in a very fundamental way. In Bangalore, I used to give Upanishad classes in one of our devotees' home, a newly constructed home. So usually these interior designers will do extraordinary things. And all the furniture is extremely sharp at the end. So I have too many scars because of the satsang in their place. Anywhere you put your hand, suddenly there is a scratch. So their daughter-in-law was going to have a baby now, and the baby is born. For a few months, the baby and the mother were staying in her maternal home. Now the baby was to come back to their home. So one day after the class, they were saying, Swamiji, the baby is going to come home now. We have to child-proof everything. So many corners are sharp. We are afraid that the baby will now start crawling and walking, and then there may be some injury. If it was US, we could have sued that interior designer. So I told, they were trying to see what is available on Amazon to child-proof the furniture, etc. So I said to them, your home is so sharp, it's impossible to child-proof. What we have to do is put a helmet onto the baby. So you have to think of solution in a very fundamental way. On a surface level, if you're just thinking of solution, life will be happening, kabhi kushi, kabhi gham. So if you want to come out of such a life, you got to think about fundamentals. there's an erroneous perception with reference to world and oneself. And we are correcting that through Upadēśa Sāram. And because of a erroneous perception towards the world, the sadhanas that we undertake, the spiritual practices, our pujas, prayers, our very religious thinking sometimes is fundamentally wrong. We got to correct them as well. So, Ramana Maharshi is introducing some of the meditations to enable our purity of mind, purity of heart, purity of thought, and for us to align with the vision. The vision is so grand, so we got to start aligning ourselves towards the vision. So Maharshi says in the verse number 7, Ajyadharaya Srotasa samam Sarala chintanam Viralataf param. So we got to start developing this ability to focus the mind like that of the flow of the ajya, ghee or oil, or like the flow of the river. This ability to focus the mind on the object of meditation. The object of meditation to start with could be Saguna Brahma, Saguna Ishvara. We are conceiving the Lord in a particular form, Dakshinamurti, Shiva, whatever is your Ishtadevata. Hinduism is a very vast canvas. So you have whatever is the form that you can connect to, you can relate to. Often when I'm giving lectures for youngsters, for college kids, or even in Indian context, I go to some of our schools and colleges to give lectures, and they ask the question, Swamiji, why do we have so many gods in the Hinduism? So I asked them, have you gone to Froyo? Have you gone to the ice cream store? Yes. How many flavors are there? How many toppings are there? You don't have problem with the variety of toppings and flavors there. Why don't you ever ask a question when you go to Froyo, why so many flavors? Why not just one dish? Or when we go to our dining hall, why not just one dish? We never get that doubt or confusion when it comes to the Froyo or the ice cream store or the toppings. But we have a question when it comes to multiple forms of God and deities that we have in Hinduism. In fact, there is a Rigvedic verse, Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. All that is there is one truth, one God, and different rishis have called it by various names and forms. Also, this insistence on one God is coming from Abrahamic religions. So that's the major paradigm. So through that lens, you want Hinduism to fit into that paradigm. They have one book, so you want one book. They have one God, so you want one God. So in fact, Pujya Swamiji used to say, we don't have one God, we don't have many gods, we have only God. In Hinduism, all that is here is Ishvara. So the spiritual practice starts with focusing one's mind on a particular form of God, Saguna Ishvara Upasana or Saguna Brahma Upasana. And the way that meditation must proceed is like a single pointed flow of oil or flow of river. You see, sometimes it's very difficult to have such kind of focus or in your meditation, probably because we have not fully discovered the love for our object of meditation. Think about it in this way. There's a young man who is in love with a girl. He can naturally focus his mind on his beloved, isn't it? So there's no effort, it's effortless. A child is watching the television. Nowadays, I don't know whether they watch television or the smartphones. A child is totally focused on the screen. Many mothers may have this experience, at least I know this from the childhood. The kids are watching the television cartoon, so much focus, the mother is calling, "Hey, breakfast is ready, come." The child has not even heard. Such is the focus on the television screen. Did the child develop concentration on the cartoon? But if the mother has to make the same kid study, then it is a way, put your mind, focus there. But on the cartoon, somehow the child's focus is there naturally. This shows that there's a big insight here. If we love something, your ability to focus and concentrate becomes effortless. Isn't it so? Isn't it so? You love watching the serial, the movie. So the ability to focus becomes natural. Similarly, we have to discover love for our object of meditation. We say bhakti, love for God. But if it is truly there, it should not be a task which involves a lot of effort, isn't it so? It should be effortless, just as a young girl or young boy can think of their beloved so easily. Similar must be our connection with that higher power. So one has to introspect and question, why have I not yet discovered that love for divine, for that higher power, for that higher power? And this upasana doesn't stop here, it moves further. Maharshi goes on to say a few more things, and we discussed it yesterday. 8th verse. Bheda bhavanat sohamityasau bhavanabhida pavani mata. Maharshi says, Pavani mata, this is the preferred path. This is the preferred sadhana. What is that preferred sadhana? Bheda bhavanat sohamityasau. Rather than always staying at the level of meditation, which involves duality between the object of meditation and oneself, move to this upasana. What is that upasana? Sohamityasau. Saha aham, soham, soham, soham. Move to this upasana. I am that reality. I am that universal self. I am Brahman. This is still at the upasana level. One may not have full knowledge of this Brahman. One may not have total understanding, yet we can start this upasana so that at least the mind becomes open to receiving such a knowledge. Otherwise the mind resists. Mind asks all the question, how can I be limitless? How can I be? This body is limited from all direction. Yes, that's the very mistake that you're doing. If you're looking at yourself only from the level of the body, of course the body is limited. In all the sense, it is limited. The mind is limited, intellect is limited. It can do 2 + 2 + 2, but it cannot do any other more complex math than that. So, start this upasana. Maharshi is telling, start this upasana. What is that upasana? Saha aham. Aham, I am that highest truth. Abhida upasana. This is called Abhida upasana. Let us start that upasana, that bhavana. At least we start thinking and feeling and have our sadhana in this direction to appreciate the fact that I am Brahman. Now this doesn't end at just doing this meditation. It has to be followed up with Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Listening to the scriptures, listening to the vision of Bhagavad Gita, reflecting upon it, and then internalizing it, meditating upon it. So that is Shravana. Shravana means hearing, listening to the words of the Shastra. Manana is just like the cow takes the grass and again it brings back the grass to its mouth and chews on it and absorbs all the rasa, all the juice from that grass. That is manana. And then the nididhyasana is total absorption of that vision. It's no more Bhagavad Gita says so. In this Upanishad it is said like that. That Swamiji said like this. This Swamiji said like this. Many of the students sometimes will be telling me that. I'll tell them, okay, fine. What do you have to say? What is your internalized understanding? Fine, Bhagavad Gita says so, everybody knows. Pujya Swamiji says so, yes, everybody knows. What do you have to say? What is your understanding now? That focus must never be lost. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You know, with a guru, how each and every moment is a moment of teaching. So, Pujya Swamiji used to undergo this peritoneal dialysis. So, every night, Pujya Swamiji used to be connected to, the body used to be connected to this dialysis machine. And it takes many hours, and after that the dialysis would be over. And next morning he would wake up and as if nothing has happened, he would just go on with his day. So I used to serve Pujya Swamiji, and I used to be with him in the night so many times. So I used to just sit, and then Pujya Swamiji used to talk and make me sing, etc. So once the dialysis machine was going on, it had 3 settings. It used to go in 3 phases. So Swamiji one night said, look, so the setting is, first phase of it is fill. There used to be a function called fill. Then the next function, next few hours or some time, would be for dwell. And the third function was drain. That's how the machine used to operate. So Swamiji said, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana is fill. Manana is dwell. Nididhyasana is drain. Don't hold on to words. The words have done their job. The words have taken away the ignorance. Thus you don't no more need the dependency of words. He said so, this book says so, Maharshi said so, Bhagavad Gita said so. It is your knowledge now. The ignorance is drained out. So that's the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. That is our Mukhya Sadhana. In Vedanta, that is the main sadhana. So Maharshi in this verse is telling, may you start the Ahangraha Upasana or Abheda Upasana. Moving further, the 9th verse. Bhavashunya Sadbhava Susthitihi Bhavana Balad Bhaktiruttama Bhavashunya Sadbhava Susthitihi Bhavana balad bhaktiruttama. Now, Maharshi is giving us another upasana, or bringing our mind to understand what true bhakti is. True bhakti is. When you understand the self, Sachidananda Atma is the highest, dwelling the mind on it becomes the true bhakti. The true bhakti. A long loving gaze on the self, mind which is made inward, to see, to appreciate the self which is ever present, which is ever present. So Maharshi is telling what true bhakti is. True bhakti is abidance in the self. Abidance in the self. Just being. Just being. In the text Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankaracharya says, Bhakti is swaswarupānusandhānam. So anusandhana, dwelling the mind on one's own swarupa, one's own real nature, one's own true nature is bhakti. It is higher level of bhakti. The way we understand bhakti usually is bhakti meaning what we have. However, now unfortunately this is the grand ideals presented in our shastras. Today the bhakti is reduced to dravya. Whoever offers the highest amount or highest number of fruits or coconut, that is a big bhakta. So in fact, I travel a lot for teaching in South India, and people sometimes want to introduce. When I go to a new town, they want to introduce somebody. They'll say, Swamiji, he's a very big bhakta. He does puja for 3 hours. They're also same kind of mind which is obsessed with numbers, hours. Here is a big bhakta. Every day he chants 1008 times. So somehow the bhakti is still in a very materialistic in nature. What is the materiality there? The materiality is with reference to number, with reference to the quantity of bananas offered or milk offered, whatever. So we still look at bhakti in terms of numbers and quantities. So that should not be. That can be a good start, nothing wrong. But then if you insist that elementary school is very nice, I don't want to go to middle school. So it becomes a kind of a distorted way of life. It's kind of distorted way of life. You have to keep on graduating to higher levels. And Maharshi is presenting PhD level here. Bhakti of PhD level. What is that? Bhavashunya sadbhava sustitihi. Sadbhava sustitihi. Remaining totally absorbed in Satbhava. Sat means existence. Bhava means being. In fact, existence and being are one and the same. One and the same. To be, to exist, isn't it so? To be, to exist. Sadbhava sustitihi, abiding in the principle of existence. Principle of existence. You see, this is a fundamental reality which is very much ignored. If I ask you to count all the things which are present in this hall, you will say mic, you will say screen, you will say lights, you will say Swamiji, you will say desk, etc. Probably lot of you would have missed out counting the space. Because there is space, all the things are able to be here. It's the principle of existence. Everything is. Everything exists. Our focus is always on the object, never goes onto this principle of existence which is ever present. Ever present. Clock is. It is. The book is. Body is. Everything first exists. That is more fundamental than that of the object. In fact, this is there in your anubhava also. As even you wake up from the sleep, the first thing that comes to your realization that you are. Isn't it so? The room is, you are. That isness is the first thing you perceive. But then immediately the thoughts goes to coffee, tea, this, that. Who has sent me good morning message? Who has sent the cat video? What is the latest dancing trend? All of it, the mind goes outside. The mind goes outside. It's as if nobody has time for themselves. All the time people are obsessed with what others are doing. If you had done it 25 years back, they used to call you gossipers, low mind. In India, if somebody is all the time talking about others, say, that lady all the time she talks about, that man all the time he talks about others. Now what people do through Facebook and Instagram, all the time looking at other people's life. It has become naturalized. The world doesn't look at it as a problem at all. It is normalized. Normalized. So that's the first thing that you experience, in fact. Easiness that there is. Even with eyes closed, suppose somebody puts a blindfold on you, and this is the first time you're coming into this room, you have never been here before, and then they blindfold you and make you touch this. The first thing that you encounter when you touch something, that something is, isn't it so? Then alone you feel it more and say, okay, this is in this configuration, this must be a water bottle. But the first thing, whenever your hands go wherever, the first thing that you experience, the first insight that you have is that something is. Something is. But unfortunately, we have never put our mind to inquire what is that. What is that? Because our focus is always on the object, never on the deeper things. If we were sitting behind the apple tree and the apple had fallen, we would have cooked apple pie. The Newton thought deeper about it and discovered the laws of nature. So if you're only in this kind of superficial material thinking, we would never have an insight about deeper realities of the world. So Maharshi is telling, bhava shunya sadbhava sustitihi bhavana balad bhakti ruttama. This is uttama sadhana. What is this uttama sadhana? Uttama means this is high or highest sadhana. What is that? Sadbhava sustitihi. Abidance in this principle of existence. Sadbhava sustitihi. And as even you go on contemplating on this principle of existence, you will have what? Bhava shunya. Bhava shunya means absence of distracting thoughts. Absence of distracting thoughts. You see, the more the desires, the more the thoughts, more is the agitation in the mind. Less and less of obsessions and desires, the mind is calmer. mind is free. Mind is available to inquire upon higher things. So in my time at Harvard, I used to come across many PhD students in science, math, etc. They were living sort of sannyasi life. Food, no, nothing, something to eat, and that's it. Clothes, I don't care what I'm wearing, something to keep me warm. Then where is the whole mind available? Whole of mind is available for research. For research. Holiday? No. Hangout? No time. Entire mind is available to inquire about deeper aspects of life. Deeper aspects of life. Bhava shunya sadbhava sustiti. More and more you dwell on the true nature of the world, true nature of yourself. That I am. Everything else is secondary. Everything else comes after this is established. What is the first and the foremost? Sat, the principle of existence. So as you dwell there, our bhava means states or thoughts. Those reduce. They reduce. So that's what Maharshi is indicating. Bhavana bhalad bhakti ruttama. And how is it achieved? How is this state of contemplativeness achieved? Bhavana bala, through the strength of meditation, through the strength of inquiry. Bhavana in this context here is meditation, it's inquiry. So it's that. Bhavana bhalat bhakti ruttama. This is the highest bhakti. This is the highest bhakti. Now we have to map ourselves. Where do we stand? Where do I stand with reference to my bhakti? To start with, do I have unconditional love towards the God? That God, so whatever is my conception of God at this stage, at this level. If you really, truly, honestly have a look, sometimes that bhakti is very conditional, not unconditional. You invoke God only when you need something. This is a Kannada saying, Sankata bandaga Venkata Ramana. Only when you have Sankat, then you think of Venkat. Only then Bhagavan comes in. So, otherwise, I don't need God. I don't need God. So that should not be in fact, it's very flawed bhakti, flawed thinking. Whole thing is a distorted view. We all wear these lenses called ragadvesha. In fact, I have a lens today I have brought to demonstrate that to all of you. So we wear a layer of ragadvesha and our own delusion and go into the world. So God, world, everything appears in a distorted way, in a discolored way. So it's like, you wear a hued glass like this and keep complaining the world is dark. So then what Vedanta does? Vedanta does and comes and removes your ignorance. This ignorance you remove. Then you have clear vision. Clear vision of the world, that's all. That's all. Otherwise, you always wear this ragadvesha. The God also looks like shopkeeper to you. One who gives you things, that's all. The function of God is to keep on giving you things. You remove that materialism out of you, then you have actual darshan of God. What is God? You have the actual darshan. Till then, very distorted view of even God. One distorted view of God all the time. So you have to remove it. We chanted one shloka in the beginning. Ajnana timirandhasya jnānānjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurame namah. My prostrations onto that Guru who like an eye surgeon removes this cataract called ignorance, ajñāna, which was making me have a distorted vision of the world. And what that guru does, what does knowledge do, is just removes this layer of ignorance. Once ignorance is removed, its effect, ragadvesha, is the effect of ignorance, that also goes out of one's system. And one has clear view of the world. One has clear view of the world. So you look at, for the first time, you will have true darshan of God. When the mind is dosed of desires. It's okay. Life will work out. You must have that faith. That's how you should go. In fact, people assume the other way around. They think the worst and then base their life. No. No need of any fear. No need of anything. Just approach the reality. Just approach the reality. The real takes away all your fears. The light of knowledge takes away all your fears. In fact, it is said in the Upanishads all the time, Shankara Bhashya, they give this example. In a dim light, a rope on the floor appears to be a snake. But then you switch on the light, you switch on the lamp, then where is that snake? There was never a snake to start with. There was never a snake to start with. You realize it was just the rope. So, ajñāna drishtya, in the sight based on ignorance, you see the world as a problem. You see life as a problem. You see everything and everyone as a problem. No. Life is what it is. Life is same for all. And problems are part of this life. It's okay. It's okay. So you get that ability to objectively face life. With problems, I'm fine. Without problems, still I'm fine. So that inner ability comes with true understanding of the nature of reality. Nature of reality. Everything is changing except this principle of existence. Sat, unchanging. You are. And how does that Sat manifesting in you? You are. Thoughts keep coming and going. You are. Unchanged. As a witness of the thoughts. As a watcher of the thought. The thoughts are changing. You are somebody separate from it. Emotions keep coming and going. Nothing wrong. But you are a step away from it. You are just a watcher. You are, and you are just watching them. So you become more fundamental. Then the happenings of the world, things and situations keep coming in and out of our life. You are ever present. You are ever present. People, sometimes all these are easy to handle, these changes. When people change, it's very hard to accept for a human heart. But you extend this knowledge. People change. We lose people also. Somebody has to go first. Somebody has to go first. So, that's how world is structured. That's how world is structured. Birth and death are the realities of the outside world. I am beyond both. I am beyond both birth and death. So I have a great acceptance in my heart through this knowledge to accept and see the world objectively. Things keep on coming and going, but I remain. Just as you stand on the seashore, a step away from the where waves can touch you, every wave comes and goes back. A big wave comes and goes back. A small wave comes, goes back. A very simple wave comes and touches your feet. There's a happy feeling. It still goes back. Everything is part of life. Everything is structured in this way. You have a very deeper acceptance of it, So you dwell on this principle of existence, Sat. Sat. So in Chandogya Upanishad, Uddhalaka is the teacher, Shvetaketu is the student, and Uddhalaka, the teacher, teaches his son this Sadvidya. In fact, Vedanta can be called as Sadvidya. Sadvidya, knowledge about the true existence, true existence. We'll repeat this verse and go to the next one. Bhavashunya sadbhava sustitihi bhavana bhalad bhaktiruttama. So this is the highest bhakti. This is the bhakti to the level we must rise up. Moving further, 10th verse. Hritsthale manaha svastatha kriya bhakti yoga bodhascha nishchitam. Now, we have many secondary sadhanas in Vedanta. One is what we discussed, which is karma yoga, converting all your actions into a spiritual sadhana by offering the results of your actions onto the feet of the higher power. Karma yoga, doing your duties as a seva, doing your worldly actions as if they are a puja to Lord. So you conduct your life in such a way. Karma yoga. Bhakti. Bhakti is love towards the divine. That is the bhakti yoga. The path where you discover love for the divine. Initially, your conception of divine is in a form of that divinity. It could be Krishna, Rama, anything. So your love is dedicated towards divinity, and a stage comes where you transcend the form and your whole focus, your attention is towards the formless, the highest bhakti. That's what we discussed. And bodha, the word bodha is used here. Bodha means knowledge or the path of knowledge, the jnāna marga, the direct means of mokṣa, the direct means of mokṣa, freedom. Because I feel bound because there is an erroneous notion in my mind. And that erroneous notion can be done away with only when you have the insight of knowledge, only when you have wisdom. So Maharshi is telling, Hritsthale manaha svastatha, abiding one's mind in the cave of one's heart, meaning in one's own true nature. So Maharshi is not talking about physical heart. Now don't question, Swamiji, should I focus my mind on what are the parts of the heart? I've forgotten. Left ventricle, right auricle. Where should my focus be on? Don't ask that. That is not now. Maharshi is not suggesting you to focus on a physical location inside the heart. It's not that. Maharshi is saying, make the mind inward to dwell on one's own true nature. Hritsthale manha swastata. In one's own true nature, the actual ground, in the principle of existence, Sat. Dwell on that. And that is what the nishchitam, that is what all the margas, bhakti, karma, and also primary sadhana of jñāna-yoga, all these three paths are trying to make you abide in your own true nature. That is nishchitam, that is certainly know this fact that all the sadhanas of Vedanta, primary and secondary, both of them, the goal of them is to make you dwell in your own true nature. dwell in your true nature. That is what every sadhana is trying to do. In fact, these sadhanas help us to lose individuality, ego. That's a big obstacle. The Karma Yoga sadhana, instead of keeping your desire as the focus, a central element of entire life, you are moving on to just being focused on the duties, what is to be done, not being so bothered about the result. Thus, ego is diluted. Now, bhakti marga. Instead of having love towards all the time objects of the world, pizza, ice cream, etc., you divert your love towards higher, towards divine, So you move a step up. The ego is lost. And finally, ego is loosened at least. Finally, through the jnana marga, through inquiry, you recognize that your individuality is a myth. The individuality is a myth. So we are all like water bottles. What is contained in the water bottle? Water. And all these water bottles are put into a river or ocean. Just because of this upadhi called body, you are feeling that I am separate, you are separate, and all that is around us is separate. In fact, it's the one self in and through everything. Body is just a cover, just like the water bottle. Once you understand the body is just a cover, body is something temporary. Inside, outside, everywhere, all that is here is the principle of existence, consciousness. Then, where is the individuality? Individuality is a myth. I, as an individual, itself is myth. And all the things built around in the society are myth. One can never be happy individually. One can never be healthy individually. COVID pandemic showed it to everyone. Unless everyone is healthy, the world cannot function normally. Just because you were healthy, it didn't matter. You had to wait for the health of everyone to restore to some extent. Only then you can function. Similarly, if everybody is unhappy, you cannot be individually happy. It just doesn't work. Life is not structured in this way. But however, billion-dollar marketing firms have made you into an individual consumer to sell you more. More concrete is the individuality, more concrete are the likes and dislikes. So more objects the companies can sell to you. The samsara continues. Vedanta bursts this bubble. It's a myth. Individuality is a myth. Even logically, if you see, as we did in the meditation, contemplation one of the days, in different models, in the Vedic model, the body is made up of the Panchabhutas. And what is the world made up of? Panchabhutas. So it is not separate, it's just extension of the same whole. You take the chemistry model, the body is just made up of carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. And what is the world made up of? The same elements. No change whatsoever. So when you appreciate, even from the physical level, there is oneness. There is oneness. And when you look at fundamentally from the principle of existence, Sat, and it's the same everywhere. That's what Maharshi is telling. To abide in self in one's own heart. Heart is a example given, or what do you say? It's a symbol. A symbolic language shows a deeper element in you. Deeper element in you. Whenever you want to express anything deeper, you touch your heart, isn't it so? You'd never say, I really love you. You say, I really love you. I'm very thankful. You never say, I'm very thankful. So all the deeper elements of life are located here. meaning to show inner, deeper, more fundamental. That is Ritstalaha, some fundamental reality about you. That is the heart space. We'll repeat this verse. Ritstale manaha swastata kriya bhakti yoga bodhascha nishchitam. So that's what Maharshi is telling. May you abide in self. This is the nishchitam. That is the clear instruction. This is the clear opinion of the Shastras and all these margas. Bhakti, karma and jnana sadhana are all there to turn your mind inward and to make you abide in your own true nature. Swastitihi. All right. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti.